this is the book that I'm currently reading right now. I have been absolutely devouring this series, and I do have a lot of thoughts. I even got some book mail, so I thought it would be fun just to open this on here. And I did do a little bit of a Target haul today. 2 new residents in the Rowsell household, a new baby monstera, which I think is just really, really pretty. Book, I'm halfway through this. This is very plot heavy. So much heartbreak. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. This is definitely gonna be more of like a low-key glimpse into my everyday life, and I'll be talking about all the books that I'm reading this week. I'm currently reading A Bond So Fierce and Fragile. Hey Hachi. Hachi's here with us. Hey good boy. Yay, good boy. What are you doing? So this is the book that I'm currently reading right now. I have been absolutely devouring this series, and I do have a lot of thoughts. It's not like a 5-star series at all for me, and I will go ahead and say that because this is the 3rd book. So at some point we'll talk about the first 2 in this video, and I'll kind of give you guys a review on how I felt about them. But overall, the first 2 books were not 5-star. The first one was more of like, honestly, a 3-star book for me. I'll go into more detail later in the video, like I said, but it really held my interest because of the romance aspect, much less of the actual like fantasy plot. So I have been flying through the series, and it feels really good to be able to just like devour a fantasy series again, because I haven't really in a long time. So I'm hoping to finish this 3rd book in the next couple days, and then maybe start the 4th one. I don't know, we'll see. I usually will like to have a little shorter book in between, but yeah, we'll see. Do you guys see Hachi right here begging for attention? Honestly, the cutest dog ever. I can't. So today is Monday, January 11th, January 12th. I just got back from the gym, and I did do a little bit of a Target haul today. So I'm gonna start this video out going over all the things that I bought at Target for our new apartment. We just moved, if you're new here, so I'm still kind of like outfitting the apartment. This is my book room / office, so I did buy a desk. I'll show you guys the new desk. And I got a keyboard. I got into the world of mechanical keyboards, and I'm absolutely obsessed with the keyboard that I got. And then I also did a little bit of thrifting, so I have a pretty cool piece that I found at the thrift store that I really want to show you guys. So we're just gonna jump into all of that stuff. We'll do the haul first and then get into the week, and I'll take you guys on what my week looks like on just a regular old week in the Rowsell household. This room is kind of like a disaster right now, so just ignore that. This is the piece that I found at the thrift store this week. Like, what the heck? This is a real oil painting. It's actually like really dusty, and I'm not really sure how you're supposed to clean like an oil painting like that, because this was definitely sitting in somebody's basement or garage or something. It was so dusty when I got it. So I really want to clean it up, but yeah, it's signed. There's like this little card on the back. I don't know, like, I'm pretty sure that's the artist. I'm so in love with this painting, and I really can't believe I found it. And I recently put a poll up on my Instagram about what I should do with this wall right here, because it's fully blank, and it's the wall that's above the office or above the desk. So this is the new desk that I got. I love it. Ignore all the cords and stuff. I promise it's gonna be clean. This is the keyboard I got. Just listen. I'm obsessed. And then this I actually got from my father-in-law. He wasn't using it anymore, so I took that. And one of my favorite plants. So this is probably not what it's gonna look like when it's set up, but this is the wall that I'm talking about. Blank wall. I have that original collage wall here, and I'm going to probably continue the collage this way. Is kind of what everybody voted for. Hachi on his throne, and then books are looking just about how we left them last time, except for this new statue that I did just thrift at this really cool antique store in Austin. I'm obsessed with it. And then also a couple new candlesticks. Okay, so this is our entryway. All of this right here, we are just not going to look at that because none of that's gonna be there. That's what I'm trying to get rid of because that's what's driving me up the wall right now. So basically, I just bought these 2 baskets at Target, and to tell you, I searched high and low for a basket that's this color, the right size, and that's gonna fit underneath this. We got this piece at Facebook Market, or on Facebook Market, for $100. Like, it is absolutely gorgeous. And I really wanted 2 baskets that were gonna fit under here, just like that, to put shoes in. And then we have 2 new residents in the Rowsell household, a new baby monstera, which I think is just really, really pretty. And then I'm not actually positive what kind of plant this is, but it was really full and I just love the coloring on the leaves. So I'm gonna put it over here in this corner by our like living room mirror, because I got a little plant stand recently, so I really needed a plant to go there. I thrifted this lamp recently, but I wanted to try a couple different shades because my husband doesn't like the shades. So I was thinking either that one or maybe this one. This one actually is kind of like a different texture, which I really like the texture. I just don't know if it's gonna work. And then the last thing that I got from Target is this absolutely stunning chocolate brown vase. And I saw it and immediately needed to have it because I've been looking for a vase this color and this size forever. Like, I just haven't found one in this brown color for some reason. And my whole house is this color, so clearly I like this color. I wanted a big one to put on this table maybe, but I don't know. That the way it is right now is not gonna work, but I definitely, that's the vibe, you know? Like, that's the vibe that we're going for, so I will figure it out. I might move that lamp somewhere else. I don't know, we'll see. That's all the stuff that I got at Target, and let me show you one last thing that I got at the thrift store. This is the other lamp that I recently thrifted. I think it's really, really pretty, but it looks very beachy right now, so I kind of want to change this shade out to a darker color. Also thrifted this. But yeah, our apartment's still kind of a mess, but it's coming together. I'm gonna shower. I'm actually going to film my video for this Saturday, so I'll film that, I'll edit it tomorrow, and then hopefully get it put up by tomorrow so that I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the week, because this week I work Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. So that is the plan right now. Monday, Tuesday are work days, Wednesday, Thursday are hospital work days, and then Friday hopefully will be a day off. It is Tuesday. It's now 9:30. I've been up since about 6:30 this morning. I read for like an hour maybe. Now I am just uploading some footage to my computer just to kind of like stay on top of it. If I'm doing like a weekly reading vlog or something like that, there's a lot of little itty bitty clips here and there throughout the week, and it's really easy to lose track of that. So I like to upload it and kind of organize it throughout the week, like do at least like 30 minutes every single day, just to make sure that I'm staying on top of it and not getting overwhelmed at the end of the week. The plan for today is to finish uploading this footage, read some more, film the wrap-up video for Saturday, and then probably start editing that if I can. I think that's it for the day. It's not a heavy day, which is nice. I did like a lot of stuff yesterday to kind of like give me a little bit more time to just relax today because I work the next 2 days. I wanted to talk about this series. So I'm gonna keep this spoiler free. So far, I have read these 2 books. These are the first 2. I've read these in like a few days, and then I am about halfway through this book, which is the 3rd. I'm just gonna give you my thoughts and feelings on what I've read so far, because this is such a hyped up series right now. I feel like it's just getting so much hype. It's kind of crazy. I wanted to give you my 2 cents on what I think about it and how I feel since reading it. For me, okay. We'll start with book 1. This was like a 3-star read for me. I'm on book 3, so clearly something is keeping me around. 3 stars is not a bad rating for me at all. That's like an average rating for me. That's like okay writing. I'm interested a little bit in like the plot and the romance or whatever it is. Like something's keeping me reading it. Something made me finish the book, because if it's gonna be anything less than a 3-star, I'm just gonna DNF. Like I just don't make myself read something I don't think is going to be good. So 3-star, 3.5 star. What really kept me around in this book and what really made me want to jump into the second one is the romance. The romance, I don't know, there's just something in the water. And I think she did it really well in keeping like your interest, because there is somewhat of a love triangle almost that blooms in this book. And you were just left wondering, like you have no inkling at all which way it's going to go, like what person she's going to choose in the next book. So it almost makes you feel like it's unfinished, and so you have to jump into the second one, which was really smart on her part. So that for me personally is what kept me going into the second book, much less so for the plot, because the plot to me, it's just like something that you've read before in any other like fantasy series or like romantasy series. A hidden princess who, you know, discovers her powers and has to rise from the ashes and become the queen and take over. It is giving me Throne of Glass vibes because of that, and because the male main character resembles a man in Throne of Glass that we all might know. That's really the only thing personally that resembles Throne of Glass, is just like the plot line and the male main character. Otherwise, for me at least, the writing is not that great. Like it's not going to change the world. It's not bad, but it's just, you can tell that, I don't know, it seems like she is a debut author in my opinion. And I'm not a writer. I have really no place to say that, but just from my experience and what books I've read and writers that I love, she just seems maybe like a newer writer, which is totally fine, but she definitely knows how to do her romance. The romance is what's keeping me around, and the plot is developing like really nicely. Like I think she's doing a good job as far as like developing the plot and stuff, but like I said, it's just like something I've read before, and so it's nothing new. It's not mind-blowing, it's not earth-shattering or anything like that, but I think she's doing, so far it's doing a job as far as keeping my interest. Second book definitely got a lot more of the romance. The romance kind of like blossoms, and you get a lot more, everything rounds back out in the second book. Everything makes sense in the second book. And then the third book, I'm halfway through this. This is very plot heavy, very, very plot heavy. And there are a lot of really sad things that happen in this book, a lot more character studying, and you get more point of views, which I love. And I think that's what was lacking in these first 2 books, is you only have one point of view, which is our female main character. But thank God she gave us like multiple points of views in this one. And I think that when that happens, you just get so much more expanse on the plot, expanse in the world, and you have multiple timelines. And I just love that. I love multiple points of view. So the third book is going really well. So those are my thoughts. I'm mildly disappointed in the writing and just like how overhyped it was, because I definitely think this series is overhyped at this point. People compare it to Throne of Glass so much, and I've already told you like what I would compare to Throne of Glass with, but it is just not even on like the level personally that I would put Throne of Glass on. Throne of Glass is like God tier. I don't know, just like the journey you go on with the characters is really unmatched in my opinion, and so it's a lot to say to compare a series to Throne of Glass, and I would not say that this one is comparable at all, really. I would recommend this series to somebody who's maybe new starting out reading in you know, like the romantic genre. I think it would be really good. I think it would catch a lot of interest if it was like a newer reader. Those are my thoughts so far, and I haven't even finished the series yet. It could change, like my opinion can change by the end of it. I don't think it will, but I'll definitely keep you updated if I end up reading that 4th book this week. I will totally tell you my thoughts on that. I think it'd be kind of cool to be able to just like read the series all back to back. I haven't done that in a long time. I do work the next 2 days, so I always like to kind of give myself a little bit of a rest day the day before jumping right into a big work stretch. Yeah, this is gonna be a super cozy video. It is a very cozy, gloomy day outside. Thrift store was a fill, and to be honest, I got a little too overstimulated, so I decided just to come home, and I think I'm just gonna start editing and hang out with Hachi, and I did get a coffee. McDonald's caramelized coffee, so underrated, so underrated. We don't have any like good coffee shops near us. There's no Starbucks really. There's really nothing that's like convenient to go to. So the McDonald's has really been doing the trick recently. What are you doing? Sleepy? You sleepy boy? Yeah. You hate it when mommy's gone. I don't know if I finished or showed you guys the finished product, but that's what I did yesterday. We've got the 2 baskets, his shoes, my shoes. This is the Facebook Marketplace. And then Target, I already had these. So I put those there. And then this is a thrifted lamp, and I just got this lampshade at, where was that? HomeSense, I think? Yesterday. I think it works. I like it. in my editing and the filming and everything, and that's why I started this channel in the first place. Talk about all the books and stuff that ignore this. I'm definitely getting sick, unfortunately, and the last 2 days at work rocked me. I'm pretty tired right now. I did wake up still at 6 in the morning. I was already awake in bed, like, and when I wake up I can't go back to sleep, but immediately I knew that I was sick, so that's good. I did end up finishing. I finished A Bond So Broken and Fragile. A Bond So Fierce and Fragile, it's up there. I already put it up on the shelf, and started A Fate So Dark and Delicate. I think 50 pages in this already. I have such weird mixed feelings about this series that I haven't like felt about a series in a while. I'm enjoying my time, but where the plot's going just seems very predictable, and I don't know, it just definitely is. I don't like giving reviews like this because I'm not an author. I've never published a book before, so like, who am I to say what the writing's like and how it is? But to me, at least, I think I said this before already, it just seems very new. Like, she seems like a new author. She seems like a young author. She just has a lot of room to grow in her writing. But the storyline and stuff, like the plot, has so much potential that I'm still enjoying it a lot, just to kind of like find out where the plot's gonna go. And at the end of the third book, you definitely have a little bit of a, not a cliffhanger, but like a big thing happens at the end. There's a war at the end of the book and something happens. That's why I had to just like jump right into the fourth book already, because I couldn't wait. I just needed to know. And I think that's like what's keeping me reading this series. But I mean, it's not that serious. I'm enjoying it. I think I'm having a good time, but it's still falling at like a 3.5, 4 star. I really like the second book. I think the second book was my favorite. But yeah, that's the update this morning. It is Friday morning and I work tomorrow and I have a video to edit. I don't know how much I'm gonna be able to do today because I'm just like not really feeling that great. I think today I'm just going to edit and get that video up. Just honestly like rest for a little bit. I just got back from a WLK with Hachi and we got some book mail. So I thought it would be fun just to open this on here with you guys. So this is kind of like a continuation of the book haul that I did recently. Okay, so this book, oh my God, this was such a cover buy. Look at this. Oh my God, this is even more beautiful in person. Wow. This is stunning. To all the men, the good, the bad, the great, the terrible, the wise, the funny, the cruel, the ones who helped, the ones who looked away. This looks so good. I'm gonna read the back. Okay, so this was definitely a cover buy. I followed the author on Instagram, read like the blurb and stuff, and it gives like Lord of the Rings elven vibes, and I love that. So I'm gonna read the back for you. 14 years ago, 12 boys vanished. 4 years later, half of them returned on horseback, scared and wordless. Solji's brother was not among them. Solji has learned to survive, but when dreams of her missing brother haunt her, she believes he's alive and needs her help. Confronting his mysterious friends, the returned opens the door to Assidir. Assidir? I don't know how to say that. Assidir, a realm of fractured kingdoms, elven cities, and brutal magic. Time runs out for her brother when her connection to him suddenly severs. The price for new information is steep, and Solji is entirely dependent on the brooding Aaron and his charming friend Valerio, one a former king and mage, and the other his loyal general and the realm's finest swordsman. Solji's growing feelings only complicate matters. A dark tale of love, power, and war. I kind of want to read this like right now. This is so pretty. I would love to have this as like an art print on my wall. I haven't seen anybody review this. It had like a few reviews on the internet, but that's about it. And then now we'll get into the giant Barnes & Noble box. I bought these because I couldn't find them in store, and I went out looking for them the other day, and they just didn't have them in stock. So I just ordered them online because I really didn't want to miss out on the sale. This is a continuation of my witchy era. I'm just like collecting all of the witchy books. I'm very excited because I think I could read witchy books all year round. So this was not a part of the 50% off sale, but this was the 25% off like entire store sale or something. And this is the First Witch of Boston by Andrea Catalano. From what I remember reading the blurb, this is about the first witch that was ever put on trial during like the famous witch hunts. And that to me just sounds really interesting. It's placed in Massachusetts Bay in 1646, and it's in the Puritan Society. Anytime I read anything or a book set in the Puritan Society, I just get like enraged. Every time, never fails. So the back says, Thomas and Margaret Jones arrive in England to build a life in the New World. Though of differing temperaments, cautious Thomas and fiery Margaret, a healer, are bound by love and has lasted decades. With a child on the way, their new beginning promises only blessings. But in this austere Puritan community, comely faces hide malicious intent. Wrong moves or words are met with suspicion, and Margaret's bold and unguarded nature draws scorn. This is kind of reminding me of Slewfoot, to be honest. Soon, Margaret is mistrusted as more cunning woman than kind caregiver. And when personal tragedies, religious hysteria, and wariness of the unknown turns most against her, even the devotion Margaret and her husband share is at risk. This is inspired by actual diary entries and court records. That's super cool. I really love that. The First Witch of Boston is at once the riveting story of a woman unjustly accused and a love story set amid the political and social turmoil of both old and New England. Harrowing and with deep understanding of the human heart history is brilliantly imagined. And the next one I got is The Resistance of Witches, or A Resistance of Witches by Morgan Ryan. And I think this is about witches during like the World War. World War II rages around her. A lone witch must journey across Europe to find a book of unspeakable power before it lands in Nazi hands. Yeah, that sounds super cool. And I think it's like a band of witches that kind of like come together and fight against the war. And there's like that mysterious book that she's trying to find. And it just sounds really good. And it's kind of like a witchy spin on like a historical book, and I'm curious if there's a romance in here. Yeah. Alone and woefully outnumbered, Lydia makes her way to the heart of occupied France, where she finds allies in Rebecca Gang, a fierce French resistance fighter with a secret, and Henry Bordeaux, a handsome Haitian-American art historian with a little magic of his own, of course. Yeah, I think this will be good too. I'm excited for this one. I've wanted to buy this one for a little while. I think I saw it at, where were we? Chapters, I think, in Canada. And I should have bought it then, and I just didn't. So this is a very typical week in my life when it comes to work and editing and YouTube and stuff. Honestly, I'm like not doing anything super exciting. I've just been home for most of the week, but that's pretty typical. Man, I'm just so excited for this book. It's so pretty. I hope it's good. I really, really hope that book is good. I finished A Fate So Dark and Delicate early this morning. I had like 60 pages left, and today is Tuesday, so Tuesday of the next week after starting this video, and I have officially completed the series, and I'm really happy that I followed through with the series because this is definitely one of those that gets better the more you read it. What really saved this series for me was the last 2 books, honestly. And I think that's just because simply we got more points of view, and that just did so much more to the story, and more specifically like the world, and just like expanding what we had started with, because the first 2 books were just kind of like mediocre in my opinion and didn't really grasp me when it came to the foundation of what the whole series is about, which is the plot. After the second book, you really solidify that romance and the relationship, and so I was really concerned that the last 2 books wasn't really going to hold my attention because that romance was already kind of like completed. But little did I know we were gonna get like 4 or 5 new points of views in the last 2 books, plus more relationships that were forming, so much heartbreak, and the magic system did expand. I definitely still have like some qualms with the series. I don't think that it's the best series in the whole world. I don't think that it's Throne of Glass relatable at all. Like, I don't think it's on that tier of what people have been comparing it to, but I think it's a good series, and I would definitely recommend it to newer romantasy readers, people who probably haven't read a whole lot of series, or people who haven't already come across something that's similar to this, because I think this is a really good starter series when it comes to diving into like the romantasy genre. I just had a really fun time reading it. I have not read an entire series back to back like this since, honestly, probably, I really can't remember the last time that I read a series like this back to back. And it might be because I haven't been reading series that are completed, but either way, I did read the whole thing back to back within like 2 weeks, and I had a great time. I do love the characters. I definitely fell in love with them and their story, and there's so much to root for in this story, even though I had some issues with it. But reading is not that serious for me. Reading is truly just for the enjoyment and the ability to escape after having a week that's busy and full of stress, and reading is that time for me, and I don't want to think about it too seriously. I just want to pick books that I think are going to make me feel good, and these definitely gave me that the past couple weeks, and so I'm really grateful for that. So yeah, not a bad series at all. Probably I would give it like a 3.5 star total, but last 2 books were like a 4 star for me. First 2 books were like a 3.5 star for me. So overall, it was a good series. I enjoyed it. I would recommend if you wanted to try it out. I think that if you didn't like the first book at all, don't even continue. But if you gave it like a 3 star like me, I think it's worth it to at least try to get through the next to see if the second book will grasp your attention a little bit more, because it did for me. So yeah, that is the end of this video and this vlog. I had a really fun time filming this week because it was a pretty typical week in my life. I'm not gonna lie. I usually don't do a whole lot during the week, especially if I'm working. And I'm a nurse, so I work 3 12-hour shifts per week for the most part. And then I also spend about part-time hours working on YouTube videos every week. I choose to do that. I stay pretty busy with that schedule. And so when I have any downtime, I like to spend it at home. I try to wake up early in the morning so I can get my reading time in, and then leave some time throughout the afternoon to do other things, to take care of myself and my dog. who has fully claimed this reading chair as his own. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here and watching today's video, and I will see you guys in the next video very soon, next Saturday, and I hope you guys have had a wonderful week and a wonderful weekend. Bye guys.